aliens, Balians, kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome to the Violet Flame Outcast with me, your favorite thought-provoking alien, Layla Marie Palacios, here with you. I got stuck in my earring. Y'all. Y'all. Oh, my hair's getting stuck on my wing, y'all. I want to share wisdom through my lived experiences, and something happened today. And gosh darn it, I feel like this is always the topic of discussion, but here we are, and let's just go. So, welcome to the story of corporate chaos.
Hang on, I'll transfer your call.
Does anybody work in the corporate world out there? Well, composure is basically what I want to talk about. Composure in the clinical corporate structure. Today, at 8:30 in the morning, the first thing that I heard between two of my coworkers is this. A male coworker speaks to an elderly woman coworker. And the male coworker says, "Hey, I would like to talk to you about something," right? And it's really hard not to overhear if you're neurodivergent or whatever the fuck, short attention span, whatever. It's not like I'm eavesdropping, but like very thin walls, you hear everything. You know what I mean? I'm documenting, writing away, and you just hear this. You know, they're not closing the door. They're not putting the little sound machine on so everyone can hear who's an earshot away of hearing. So I heard, and here I am telling you what I heard. So this person was like, "Hey, so I just wanted to tell you I was talking shit about you." And the elderly person goes, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I was talking shit about you, but I figured that we could both be adults and we could both discuss this." What a beautiful moment. And then like when I was listening to that, I was like, that's why I like that guy. You know what I mean? Like we're not perfect or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But like that's one of the qualities that I appreciate about that person. I'm like, he's real as fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, this is what happened, and we're adults. We could talk about this. However, I wanted to talk about gender. It matters. And I want to talk about ageism as well, okay? Because months ago, I was advocating for a client, okay? Long story short, I was advocating for my client. I walked into this same elderly person's office, and I fucking hate just labeling this person in this anonymous story an elderly person, because this person, I mean, we're more than our age, we are more than our gender, you know what I mean? But I guess just for you to understand the dynamics at play here, this is the descriptor that I am choosing to use about this woman, and it's not an insult or anything like that. I'm going to talk about ageism. So thank you for bearing with me. I just feel like I have to over-explain myself. You know, it's like, don't fucking misunderstand me for labeling this anonymous person as elderly and blah fucking blah. But anyways, months ago, I was advocating for a client, and I also went up to this person, I believe in a professional manner, and I was like, "Hey, I would like to discuss this, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da." And they weren't really that, and like, mind you, I didn't walk up in there like, "Hey, my client was talking shit about you," you know, like I wasn't like that, you know what I mean? I was just like, "Hey, da-da-da-da." Yeah, I don't even want to rehash the fucking incident, but my point is that it was interesting to me to notice and put together in my brain, because again, I am also risking making an ass out of myself, right? Because what am I doing? I am just going based off of assumption and personal experience, okay? So I'm hearing this between these two people, and I'm like, I commend the elderly woman's ability to be receptive to that constructive comment. And honestly, I just like put on some music and started documenting, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to try and like finish listening to the rest of that. But just at the beginning, the fact that he was just like, "Hey, I was talking shit about you. I thought we could be adults and we could talk about this." And I'm like, yeah, exactly. We're adults and we can all talk about this. However, it was coming from a man, maybe not in the same age range, but older. You know what I mean? Me, I'm perceived maybe as a younger woman trying to come up in here, trying to tell some older woman what to do or how to do her job, right? Because immediately I was hit with, "I've been doing this for 30 years and I'm 75 years old and I'll act like a child if I want to." Hey, granted, I'll probably act like a child too when I'm 75, you know what I'm saying? And I'll totally feel entitled to do so as well, right? But it was just interesting to notice, like, wow, the receptivity was more palatable when it was coming from this male figure as opposed to me. And why would it be confronting for something constructive to be coming from me? I don't know. The only fucking idiotic bullshit thing I can think of is stupid competitive nature that humans have, you know? But it seems to be more vicious between women, you know what I mean? And it's just like, yee, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I really got under her skin and I had no idea why. I was just trying to like be protective of my clients, you know what I mean? And I am protective of my clients, you know what I mean? I'm going to stand up and advocate for my client if I see something that's awry or iffy or that I tilt my head at, you know? I will address it and attempt to speak about it as adults, you know what I mean? And we had like a bigger meeting and blah, 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 blah. But anyways, that's irrelevant. Really what I want to talk about is the same thing, y'all. I had another lesson of learning how to Buddha the fuck up today. When are we going to learn? When will we learn to not be moved from our Buddha-like nature? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what kind of energy people are coming at you with. You or we or I would love to just remain in my center. Not deterred by whatever is coming at me, right? So what came at me today right before I clocked out of work? My boss, right? My boss was like, hey, I saw all these physical files in your coworker's office. And I'm like, correct. If you want to ding someone, ding me about that. I'm like, that's me. If you want to ding someone, ding me about that. I've been training her and here you go. I opened up my drawer. I'm like, here's all the physical files I have in my possession. Here you go. Go put them where they go, I guess, right? And she couldn't believe that I had physical files in my office, right? Because of the compliance issue and all of that stuff. I have been doing all of the Spanish intakes, and I don't know what the fuck is going on in the filing cabinet because right now the company is trying to go digital. So something that goes in there is going to get scanned and then shredded. I don't have access to the system where the papers are being scanned to. And if I'm working with these clients, I need access to the physical paperwork. Okay, I understand that it needs to be in lock and key in the file cabinet along with all the other filing cabinets. And just like I just mentioned, it's a shit show over there. I don't know what's going on. And I feel like every single time I ask a basic question up in the front, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? I don't know, I'm doing so many things. And it's like, okay, I don't want to fucking overwhelm you as more, you're already overwhelmed and a simple question is going to overwhelm you more. And it's just like, fuck, I don't want to be that fucking inconvenience, right? I also don't want to worry about being perceived as a fucking inconvenience. It's like, hey, we have a job to do here. And if I need to ask a question to do that job, what the fuck? You know, why should anybody feel like they have to walk on eggshells? You know what I mean? But anyways, the point is, there's a way to say things. I already said that in my old video. There's a way to say things. And my boss kind of like came at me kind of like, you know what I mean? And then like they could not believe that I had the files in my office, right? Safe and sound, right? I know where they are. I know where to find the paperwork. And then I know where to put it when it's scanned, all done. You know what I mean? So then she kind of just explodes like always, right? My boss. And then I'm like, hey, show me where you're going to put the files, right? I need to know like where they go. So then she goes in the filing cabinet, kind of throws them wherever. She's like, I don't even know, but they're going to be there for now. And I'm like, okay, can you put this there then? And then she kind of just throws it and she's like, don't come at me like that. And I was like, come at you like what? I'm like, I'm matching your energy. You know what I mean? I'm like, remember, there's ways to say things. But again, y'all, that was a teaching moment again for me. I really must not be deterred from my center. It doesn't matter how my boss comes at me. It doesn't matter. I should recognize it and just not react or let myself get riled up to match her energy. I really strongly dislike that I am still learning how to not fucking elevate, or really, if we're talking about fucking vibes here, fucking downgrade to that low vibe energy. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could just fucking remain in my center and not be like me. You know what I mean? I am very well aware that I am going to be in a position where I'm going to be boss one day. I am opening up my own treatment center. I am going to need a team. I'm 920, bro. I'm learning leadership. You know what I mean? And I do not want to be misperceived as a bitch. I hear, and trust me, they have not used that word to describe my boss. They've used other descriptors. However, I witness how this person is perceived, and I do not want to be perceived as such. So, as she was walking away in a huff, I told my boss, that is not the kind of boss I want to be. Because I don't. I hear the way colleagues speak of her, and I do not want to be spoken of in that way. And I know and understand that I am very easily misunderstood. Why? Look at me. Look at how I'm expressing myself. Maybe some of you are triggered just because of how I'm expressing myself. Maybe you're not. And I do feel bad at that comment that I said, you know, to my boss as she was walking away. I was like, this is not the kind of boss I want to be, and it's not, you know. I want to foster growth, and I want to meet difficulty eye to eye, but in a calm manner, right? There's a way to say things, but I don't want to do it in like a fucking manipulative way either. You know what I mean? Because there's those people that talk like especially in a certain way to really try and make you believe that they're a certain way, but you know, they're just trying to like sway you to believe that they're coming across in a certain way. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, damn, people can't see through that. But then sometimes I'm like, people probably think that about me. I threw up at work today. My acid reflux got the best of me, I guess. I don't know. I forgot to mention that after that whole interaction with my boss happened, I started documenting again, trying to finish the note that I was working on. And then a coworker like comes by and like checks in on me like, hey, are you okay? And I thought that was so sweet. I'm like, thanks, man. Like, it's all good, man. Like, it's happened before. It's all good. It'll happen again. No, I didn't say that. Excuse me. Oh my God. Excuse me. But no, yeah, I thought it was really sweet. And I think, let me find the sticky note. It stayed in my truck, but I got a sticky note from my coworker who checked in on me afterwards with music recommendations, and I love that. I'm like, that's the kind of friends that I want. You know what I mean? I love music. Like, I have such a deep affinity for music. You know what I mean? And they were sharing music, and that was just really nice. I'm going to check it out right now. But yeah, the kindness goes a long way, man. Like, I didn't cry about that experience, which was cool. Like, it was so funny. Like, when, you know how sometimes all it takes is for someone to ask you, are you okay? And you're just like, you know what I mean? So I felt that, you know, it's like, are you okay? And I kind of felt the emotion kind of like rise up. But then I was like, you know, because I received the question and I was like, you know what, I'm fine. And then like the emotion kind of like went down again. I'm like, I'm fine. So I didn't even get teary-eyed or anything like that. I got teary-eyed a little bit, and I started like, my voice broke a little bit when I was like, ugh, like I really strongly dislike when I get moved from my center. You know, I'm like, ugh, I gotta learn. You know what I mean? It's like, and we just talked about it in the meeting that we had right before that, you know, because that happened like around close to 5, and we had a meeting at 2. And in that meeting, a coworker was sharing an experience with a difficult client. You know what I mean? And the coworker was really feeling bad about themselves for kind of like snapping at the client. You know what I mean? But really, they just put a boundary and were really acting out of self-preservation, you know? But we were just talking about in the meeting too, how there's like a way to say things and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, we need to learn as professionals to not let ourselves snap and get heated. So Thank you, mystery coworker, for checking in on me afterwards. Thank you, all the awesome coworkers. Y'all know who you are. You know if I fuck with you, dude. I mean, I fuck with everyone, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But like, I see you, and like, if I see you, and like, it flows. You know what I mean? So thank you. And kindness goes a long way. So. Corporate chaos. And I was telling another coworker the other evening too, like, working in a corporate structure is a school to learn how to like be and work well with others, I guess. You know what I mean? Because like I told y'all, I'm going to have a team, right? I need to learn how to work well with all different types of personalities and not let myself be deterred by whatever presentation is in front of me. That is all I want to talk about, basically. The clinical corporate structure, man. And I know there's a lot I don't know. There's a lot I don't know, and that's why I need a team. I do not have to be an expert on anything, and I will never claim to be. You know what I mean? I think that's a toxic symptom of today's culture. It's 2025. Today is April 25th, 2025 to be exact. We think we need to know it all, and we're scared that we're going to say the wrong thing. I don't want to walk on eggshells and not voice my opinion, right? Because it's going to ruffle feathers. I have a headache. I need to drink some tea. But that's all the tea I have, y'all. Isn't that? Ugh. Ew, I think the tea bag bursted in there. I hate when that happens. Or I strongly dislike when that happens. I don't like using the word hate that much. Oh, I do have another thing to talk about. Also, I think it was last week or this week, a coworker told me, "You're very gullible." And I sat with that feedback for a few days, and I thought about the concept of gullibility and why they might think that I'm so gullible. And this is the conclusion that I have arrived at. I believe they perceive me as gullible because I walk and talk and breathe and live and ooze my authenticity. I walk in my authentic nature. I am what I am. What you see is what you get. I'm the real fucking thing. I don't have fucking time for bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fucking real. And I think where I fuck up sometimes is thinking that everybody is walking in their authentic nature as well, right? But not everybody is going to be a real one. You know what I mean? And no, I'm not fucking fluffing my feathers and like fluffing my ego. You know what I mean? No, I'm just saying, like, when I'm interacting with someone, I think they're being real with me too. And sometimes I think that's my mistake. I feel that I am being met with the same authenticity as I am giving. And oftentimes, maybe that is not true, right? So maybe that person might think, oh, you know, I can easily like tell them something and they would like believe it, you know? But the truth always comes to light, and like the cracks will always start showing. And I give you that benefit of the doubt all the time. You know, if I'm interacting with you and I am giving you the privilege to see these intimate parts of me, right? And I'm opening myself up to you, I'm going to be real with you. And if you're not being real with me, and in your mind, you're thinking, wow, this bitch like really believes everything I'm saying. And like, I really have her fooled. And like, wow, like she really just like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's like, ew, you know what I mean? It's like you're not fooling anybody, because as soon as somebody finds out that you're like not being authentic, it's like you're done. You know what I mean? But like, I've been wanting to get in front of the camera for a long time, and sometimes I feel like I'm unable to do so. It's just all these parts. You know, it's like an internal war all the time. And it's like, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, my keyboard. You know what I mean? Like, I want to produce, and sometimes I just come home from work and I'm human, so I have to fucking rest. But then I think there's sacrifice in all of this. You know what I mean? Like, and I think of my parents, they sacrificed a lot of energy and time and sleep, you know, to like provide for us and be there for us and stuff like that. So it's like, why can't I make small sacrifices for my creative future, you know, or like my creative vision or the leadership that I see for 920, you know? But I did want to just talk about depression for a little bit. Sometimes I get so depressed, and it's what makes it hard for me to do the creative stuff I want to do, or like my projects, or just like a silly little video, or just shit I enjoy doing. It's hard for me to like keep that momentum going when I fall into a depression, you know? And that also fucks up like meetings that I have, right? I was depressed one meeting and it was just horrible. I was just like, ugh, you know? And then I overthink everything, but then I'm also like, ugh, it can't just be me here, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I just need to run with my ideas. Just run wild, not overthink it. Just spitball, 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 shoot, 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 shoot. And then, you know, shout out, shoot your shot. He's a photographer. You'll miss all the shots you don't take, you know? So let's end with a PiXiE Oracle card, kind of fitting with this, right? Here, let's really give the wings some love. Let's get some light off. But look! Oh my God, is the other wing like out? Or you can't see both? Can you see both? Oh, you can barely see both, but yes. And then my altar is like right there. Oh, I can't. I thought I could swivel the camera. Lights, camera, action. There's that one, the warm setting, and then there's this setting. This is the setting I had it on. Anyways, aliens, balians, kings, queens, and in-betweens. Let's pick a card, any card. These look like coasters. I recently started facilitating a 3-hour group and I really enjoy it. I love what I do, y'all. Like, that's what keeps me in the corporate chaos of it all, because I enjoy what I do. I love client care. You know what I mean? I love being there for people and like getting them through the darkest of days. And who the fuck would have thought that it would be with the addiction population? You know what I mean? Loner, stoner, psychedelic Layla lands in the recovery addiction field? Plot twist. God said plot twist. I'm going to shuffle these. All right. See, they're circles. See. I wanted to play something on my phone because it was like the energies, astrological energies. It's like we're going to be challenged to meet chaos gracefully or not like pop off, basically, is what I got from that. And it's funny. Funny, funny, funny. All right. Feliz de mi guardia, mi dulce compañía, no me desampare ni de noche ni de día. Amén. Oh. It rolled all the way over there. I'm going to go get it. My goodness. It's the second card of the deck, and it says Big Kiss. That is the card that we got for the collective reading that we're going to end on. And it reads as follows. Let me find it on the little booklet. Okay, it says, I don't know if you want to stare at the card while I read it. The universe is puckering up to lay down a big ol' smooch on you. This is a playful and joyful time of bliss. You may be experiencing a romantic or flirtatious energy, or you may feel embraced by the world around you. This card could open to a new romance or major crush. You might be crushing on the beauty you see all around you and the lushness you can create for yourself. The big kiss takes center stage and leaves little attention for anything else. Take center stage, darlings. Be the best you can be. Aliens, Balians, kings, queens, and in-betweens have a beautiful, wonderful existence. Be kind to each other and remember to learn how to Buddha the fuck up. Do not let others deter you from your center. Bye. This has been the Violet Flame Outcast with me, your favorite thought-provoking alien, Leila Marie Palacios. Hasta la próxima.
He has landed.